Hey everybody, this is Greg Gossett from Gossett Trading and Mentoring Live, and today is Friday, November 13th. So it's Friday the 13th, 2020. We are in the final hour of the trading week, and we are in the final hour of the trading day. I mention it each day, but I feel like it's very important. During the day, you have the day traders and the algorithms. They are the ones that are in control of the price. At the end of the day, the large financial institutions come in. They're dealing with the most money, very smart people, best technology, best information, and they start to take control of the price away from the day traders and the algorithms in the last hour. And in my opinion, I feel like there is an edge in following what the large financial institutions do at the end of the day, and that's why I wait till the end of the day to make my buying and selling decisions. So thank you all for coming today. I hope you're having a good day. I appreciate you being here. I always look forward to this time of the day. We have such great people in the chat, and I really feel fortunate that we have this channel and we have such a great group. So thank you all for coming. I really do appreciate it. So all right, well, the NASDAQ, the Dow is up 404 points, up 1.38%. The NASDAQ is also green, 95 points, up 0.82, and the S&P is up 44 points, up 1.24%. So we're back in the green after the red that we had yesterday. So it's been pretty volatile lately. I mean, it's been just kind of a choppy mess all over the place. So anyway, listen, this is the plan for today. First of all, we're going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer. Secondly, we're going to come back, take a look at my current positions, talk about when I bought them, why I bought them, how I'm going to manage them going forward. I did have a couple good day trades today that I'm going to share with you. After that, we're going to go over to the board and take a look and see how your positions are doing. I see some red and some green over there, so that will be interesting to go through and see how those are doing. After that, we'll spend a few minutes, talk about trader psychology. Most important part of trading is getting your mind right and basically coming up with a good, decent plan based upon good trading principles of keeping your losses small, letting your winners run. But to do that, you have to follow it, right? And that's the biggest challenge in trading. All the traders that I know, that is their biggest challenge, including myself, but I work hard on it. So I do like to touch on trader psychology every day just to kind of put that in your minds, and hopefully over time through osmosis, you'll understand the importance of it and that you'll work on it, because it really is the greatest skill that you could possibly have in trading. After that, I have gone down through my watch list. I have gone down through the results of Kamal Scanner. Real quick, I have 3 requirements whenever I'm looking to enter a trade. First requirement, I need a confluence or a combination of indicators, ideally lining up on multiple time frames. Number 2, risk to reward is very important. As a matter of fact, I think it's the most important part. Having a small risk with the potential of having a big win. Doesn't always work out that way, but you want to set yourself up so that if you do lose, you lose small, and if you do win, you have the potential to win big. And then number 3, please spend a few minutes each day, ponder, contemplate, how many positions do you have? How much account heat do you have? How correlated are your positions? Are you spending time to account for volatility in your position size? So I'm going to go down through the results of Kamal Scanner, and I'm going to look for those 3 requirements. If I find something, I'll put it over to the left side. If I don't like it, I'll put it over to the right side. And then at the end of the day, I'll go through the ones that look good candidates at the end of the day, and I'll go through them with a fine-tooth comb. And if I find something that looks good at the end of the day, I will go ahead and buy it. And then when the market closes, if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm very happy to answer them for you, give you any clarification that you need. If there's any stock symbols that you would like me to take a look at before the market closes, if you'd like my opinion, I'm very happy to give that to you. Just go ahead, put it in the chat, put an emoji by it so I know it's time sensitive. And then lastly, if you have any new entries or exits for me today, I'm happy to get it updated on the board, but if you could please wait till the end of the day so that I'm done teaching, I'm done trading, and the pressure's off. All right, so that's the plan. Hang tight. I'm going to run that U.S. legal disclaimer, and I'll be back in about 40 seconds. Thank you. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Please carefully read and/or listen to the U.S. government required disclaimer before watching this video or live stream broadcast. The video link and disclaimer text are located in the description section of this video or live broadcast, here and here. Thank you so much. All right, make sure my microphone is on. All right, let's see who is here today. Gary is here. Hello, Greg and group. Hello, my friend Gary. How are you doing? Is it cold where you're at? I don't know if you've had storms there or not, but boy, I'll tell you, it's cold in Utah today. It's under 30 degrees. I'm sitting here with 2 beanies on. Good to see you, Gary. Bob is here. Hey, Bob. Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Hi, Bob. Nice to see you. Hope you're doing well. Yavar Muster is here. Nice to see you again, sir. And Yavar says, hello, everyone. And hello, Yavar. Kamal is here. Hey, Greg and gang. Hey, Kamal. Nice chatting with you today. And thanks for everything that you do with the scanner. Kamal's made even more improvements on the scanner. And I'm just so impressed with his tech skills. It's just amazing. But thanks, bud. Appreciate you as always. Jatin is here. Hello, group. And good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon to you, sir. Hope you are doing well. Thanks for coming by. Johnson is here. Hey, Johnson. Good to see you, sir. Hello, everyone. Frank is here. Hello, Greg and group. Hi, Frank. Good to see you. Dirk is back. Hello, all. Good to see you, Dirk. Ava is here. Hello, or hi, Greg and all. Hello, Ava. Hope you're doing well. Steve Burns is here. Hey, Steve. Good to see you, bud. Well, this has been a week to remember. It certainly has. And Steve, thank you as always for coming by, dropping in the chat, saying hi, and adding to the podcast with your setups and your analysis of things. I really appreciate that. And also, as always, thank you today for including me on your Friday list on Twitter. I really always appreciate that. But you're right. This has been a week to remember. My gosh. David is here. Hello, Greg and group. Good to see you, David. Hope you're doing well. Wondering if it's cold over there in Colorado like it is here. Johan. Hey, buddy. Good to see you. Hi, everyone. Hello to Johan. Johan wants to look at FedEx. I think that's FedEx. Yeah. Not bad. Not bad. We have a nice higher low valid V2. We've closed over the 10, the 5, and the 20. We're back above the 30 or 50 RSI. That is good. Let's look at the weekly. Weekly, it's right up there at the third ATR channel. I'm a little concerned that it's went below the third ATR channel. Now it's bumming up against it, and the way I'm seeing my charts here, it hasn't closed above. But what am I doing? But it is a higher low V2, and I've liked that we have the big down bar. See, we got stuck right at the halfway, but now we've moved up past that, so that's okay. My risk would be to close below halfway the washout bar here, and maybe you could go back up and test those previous highs. I don't know, but pretty good. Gary says 50 degrees and rainy in New York. Not too nice. Lova74, new guy here. Hello, Lova74. Nice to see you. Thank you for coming. Quad says good afternoon, Greg and group. Good afternoon, Quad. Good to see you, buddy. Good chatting with you earlier. And let's see, we have a poem from Frank. Let's see what Frank has to say. Now you see it, now you don't. The overnight spy trade. You reap while you sleep or wake up and weep. Oh, that's true. Just trade light, not too steep. Who knows, the money you make you might just get to keep. Frank is a regular now on the overnight spy trade. At least he has been in a little bit in recent days. Not assuming that you're going to continue, but that's great, Frank. Now you see it, now you don't. The overnight spy trade. You reap while you sleep or wake up and weep. Just trade light, not too steep. Who knows, the money you make, you might get to keep. That's true. And I have woken up looking at how much I've reaped, and I've woken up weeping as well on the overnight spy trade. It is fickle. I think that's the right word. It's a little persnickety. How's that? It's a little persnickety, that trade. But, well, I'll get to that in a minute. Brian says, hello, everyone. Hey, good to see you, bud. I'm glad to finally have some time to listen in. Thoughts on ECL and HST? Okay. ECL. Well, I don't really see anything on ECL. I mean, we did pop our head back into the value zone, Brian. I didn't see any sideways motion. We have bounce, but just in my experience, when you get these kind of strong down moves and right back up, they maybe go up a day or two and then they tend to fail. I like to see it come back down into the value zone, go sideways for a while, have some consolidation, then have a V1 and go up. In my experience, those tend to move up higher. These kind of straight down, straight back ups tend to not trend, because then they become V's, and really there's not a lot of V's in the market in general. HST, that sounds familiar. Well, it's kind of the same thing. It's kind of the same thing as ECL. I mean, we had a strong down move. Yes, this is a V2. It is back above the 200. It is, looks like it's back above the third ATR channel, which, you know, you have to be pretty strong to go and stay above the third ATR channel. At a 6180 RSI, I would imagine the 70s right up in this range, and the risk down here, you know, it seems like about a 1-to-1 to me, and I usually just don't buy it up at the third ATR channel because 92% of prices fail here. On the bright side, it did close above the 200, but that's my take. This is not something I would take, but it doesn't mean it certainly can't move up, but it just doesn't kind of fit my criteria. But good to see you, Brian. Jatin says, Dow Jones, a typical strength setup if we look closely since November 9th, it never gave a close below 29,000, shook everyone out, sustaining above highest resistance. Well, there's the Dow index. What concerns me about the Dow and a lot of things is we had that big down, remember the big gap up day, and we had the big down. We're getting right close to halfway of that, and you're right here at the third ATR channel. It could go up higher, but again, just like I was telling Brian, that just doesn't fit my criteria, but you could be 100% right. This could keep on going up. Kamal says, nice one. Frank says, thanks, Kamal. Johan says, Frank, thumbs up. Thanks, Johan. All right. Well, speaking of the SPY, can't tell you how I'm excited I am not to have to explain this trade. Overnight SPY trade. In case anybody is wondering why I do this, I did put a video in my playlist on YouTube in the lessons video, and you'll understand why I buy the SPY at the close and sell it first thing the next morning. So I did buy it yesterday at 353.21, sold it this morning right at the open at 355.30. So not too bad. If I could do some math, so yeah, just over $2. So that's nice. And mentioned this before, but boy, was I stuck in red on this trade at the beginning of the year, but it has come back positive. So Frank's in there with me. Nice job, Frank. And hence the poem. And of course, I will be buying this today at the close, holding it over the weekend, selling it first thing on Monday at the open. All right, I've had a couple stinkers between Pets and Beyond Meat. Yesterday, Pets was down big. I had to take that loss, and today I'm going to have to take this loss. I did buy Beyond Meat yesterday. I like the trade. I like that we went under 30, over 30. We held the 200-day moving average. The risk to reward was good. You know, when I look at this, I look at the close to the 200-day. That's kind of what I look at the risk as. It's off of its lows, which is good. If it did close above the 200 today, which is not out of the realm of possibilities, not likely, but if it did close above the 200, I would keep it. If it tested underneath the 200 and didn't like it and went back up, but I'm not predicting that for sure. But you know, the way I'm going to handle this trade is I bought it here at 128.73. It's 124.44, so it is down 3.46%, which is a lot, but the volatility was so big that the ATR range was so high that it had me buy fewer shares. So that's, if there's big volatility and you have a big down day like 3.4%, it sounds bad and it is bad. Rather have a profitable trade, but imagine if I would have come in here with like a regular position size, that really would have hurt. But my position size was pretty small because the ATR was so big, because this juiced up the ATR reading this big move down. So anyway, to close above the 200, I will hold it. If not, I will get out. Bob's in this, Johnson's in this, Gary's in this, and Frank has a little 10% position. So that's one I'm really going to have to watch at the end of the day, but kind of a bummer. VIX is another bummer. Ramble Ron, Quad, and I bought VIX back here 1991 with an under 30, over 30, under the negative third, over the negative third. It immediately went down. Yesterday we had a big day up. It was 6 or 7%, but today down 6.41%. It still is holding the 30 RSI. I am going to hold this unless it closes below the 30 RSI as a little bit of a hedge to my longs. I do scale out whenever I have a certain move up each day. And of course, yesterday we had the big day. And of course, you can imagine that I'm glad that I took some profits off at higher levels, because the best thing about scaling out is when this happens. I got out at higher levels, profitable levels yesterday, so that if it does come right back down on me like it did today, I mitigate the loss down because I took some higher. So that's why I'm a big fan of phasing out. All right, Apple. So those were my swing trades. Not the best day for sure. SPY was positive, Beyond Meat is negative, and VIX is negative. I did have some good day trades today on oh, sorry. I always forget I have Apple. I did buy Apple here at 116.58. Let me go over to the Apple chart. I bought it here 116.58 when we had a 1030 EMA crossover. So it's up nicely on the trade. It is down 30 cents today, but well off of its lows, which I'm grateful for. So I will be holding that. Looks like Gary is long Apple from 108, so it's 118. He's made $10 on the trade. Nice. Bob, Johan, Quad, also in this. Yas is in from 116.61. He sold half. Frank is in 10% from 111. He kept a runner. And then Steve is long Apple 117.79 on the 1030 EMA crossover. So anyway, I think it looks like everybody is up on Apple, even though it is down today. All right, now over to intraday trades. I did buy Apple here with this bullish engulfing bar and this V1. I bought it here at 118.33. It moved up nicely. Here I had a nice big kind of up thrust bar. When it got to the 200-day moving average, I sold half immediately. I assumed that there would be some issues there, so I bought it at 118.33. I sold half at 118.77. I'm glad I did, because it immediately came back down, and right when it came back down to my entry point, I just got out of half, that second half at break even. So I made half from here, 118.33 up to 118.70. And then I had a really nice trade here on Disney. Here we go. We had this double bottom, false breakout double bottom with a V2. I bought Disney at 133.70. The next bar had a big, strong bar up. I sold half at 138.14. It then closed below the 200. I sold half of a half at 137.80. So at this point, I only have a quarter left, right? So I bought here 173.30, sold half at 138.14, sold another half of a half at 137.80. At this point, I only have a quarter left, And it moved sideways, moved sideways. Had it gone down to my entry, I would have got out, break even at that quarter. And then we had another big up thrust bar, and I was like, that's a good trade. And so I just got out. So 137.30, 137.80, 138.14, and 138.60. So not too bad. Not too bad. Yesterday I did have a down day with day trading. Not too bad, but it was a down day. I only had one trade, so it's nice to get back into the green column for sure. Okay, so that's all my fun and games. I get rid of Walt Disney there. All right. Steve says Beyond may have a 200 SMA 30 RSI breakback over confluences soon. Well, it might. It would be nice if it did it today while I still have it, but it is creeping up. So who knows? Who knows? There is a chance that it could hold. There is a chance, but me personally, I'm going to get out if it closes below the 200-day moving average. But I'm glad it's off of its low by about $1. That's for sure. All right, let's take a look at your trades now. All right, Steve Burns. Steve Burns bought Advanced Micro Devices at 81.26. It is 81.26. It's exactly even. Steve bought this with the 1030 EMA crossover here, 81.26. When the 10 EMA crossed over the 30 EMA, it was up yesterday. It was up a little bit earlier today, but then it's come back down. So anyway, break-even trades. Remember, the math on trades are big wins are acceptable, small wins are acceptable, break-even trades are acceptable, and small losses are acceptable. That's the formula for profitable trading. You just cannot have those big losses. So anyway, Steve's right about break-even. The crossover is still in place there. GDXJ is Yas. Yas bought GDXJ here at 53.20. Had a beautiful, strong, just monster move up. Yas told me that he has been scaling on the way up, which I'm glad because it mitigates the loss on the way down here. It is up 1.72% today, which is good, and he is still up on the trade. So very nice, Yas. Berkshire Hathaway. David had a beautiful trade on Berkshire Hathaway here. Steve was just talking about the rejection of a 30 RSI and the rejection of the 200-day on Beyond Meat. Well, this is almost exactly the same trade. David took this trade back at 201.42 with the rejection of the 30 RSI and the rejection of the 200 3 times at 201.42. Just been beautiful, up, 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 up. But this is a good example of having a good a small risk if he was wrong. If he was wrong, he would have gotten out, but having the strength to hold a nice big winner. This is up 1.17% today. So congratulations, Gary. Intel, all right, I'm going to have to go over here. So Gary, oh, sorry, did I mix those up? No, David. David had Berkshire Hathaway. Gary has Intel. Gary did sell Intel put spreads down to $45, expiring probably next Friday on the 20th. $45, the 45.40 put spreads is what he sold. As long as the price stays above $45 by November 20th, Gary will be able to keep all the premium, and it is back over $45. So that's really good. So it looks like it's going to be a photo finish probably, but I hope that just goes zooming up for you so you don't have to stress about it. EXAS, Ava bought EXAS at 121.20 a couple days back. It is 123.45. It is up $1.03 today at 0.84%. So very nice, Ava. Nice trade back into the value zone and up on the day and up on the trade. Fantastic. Zynga. Bob bought this intraday back here on the 10th. Bought it at $7.91. It is $8.11. It is down 0.86% today, but it is still up on the trade. So that's what's important. The Qs Frank bought a half a position in the Qs here at 284.60. It is now 290.71. So very nice, Frank. So like $5.50 profit, and it is up $1.57. It's up 0.55% today. Ooh, Apple might just go positive. That would be good. Just to break even right now. Kamal bought blue here at 45.17. It is currently 45.81. It is up 40 cents today, up 0.88%. He's up on the day and he's up on the trade. QLD, Ava bought QLD at 95.80. This is, I can't remember, is this double leverage or triple leverage Qs? I don't trade this much. It's either double leverage or triple leverage. I think it's double. Well, I guess I can tell, right? I just go over here. Yeah, it's triple because it's 3 times what the Qs are. Very nice, Ava. Ava is up 1.52% today on the trade, and she is up 3.36 roughly. Or she's up 3.36 on the trade as a whole, and she's up 1.55% today on today's action. So very nice, Ava. Very impressive. Teladoc. All right, Ava did buy Teladoc back here on Wednesday at 182.70. It is 181.68. It is down 2.84% today, so slightly underwater on the trade, down on the day, and it looks like, you know, possibly could lose the 200-day moving average. I don't know if that's your stop, but probably watch that carefully. Workhorse, Bob bought Workhorse here at 19.16, went rocketing up yesterday, but came all the way back down right to about break even, which is a bummer. So yeah, I guess I'll just point out this is why I like to take profits when I have some. Not the whole thing, just a small amount, but it does make days like this when it comes all the way back on you a little bit easier. And then lastly, Quad Racer bought GILD, Gilead Sciences at 60.81. Immediately went against him. It was very rude. Went against him, but right back up today, and he is in the money now by 10 cents, 10, 11 cents. And it is so he is up on the trade and he is up on the day. So very nice, everybody. Jatton says, any views on Tesla, sir? It would be volatility contraction pattern, but would be helpful if you look at it. Sure. Yeah, I mean, it consolidated for a couple days, the last 2 days, but today it kind of did break down a little bit here. I don't see anything here that I like. If we could move back up and make a higher low V2 on Monday, I might be interested at that point. So it either has to go up higher, create a V2. It'd be nice if it could get above this whole band of moving averages. But if it doesn't do that, then I would have to look lower. I like the confluence here of the 100-day moving average along with the negative third ATR channel. This, to me, if it heads lower, this is where buyers should step in, and that's where it should give a pretty decent risk to reward ratio. So in this case, it either has to move up or it has to move down. But where it's at right here, I just feel like it's no man's land. Hope that helps, John. All right, so been doing this the last few days, and these were yesterday's setups. So let's go through yesterday's setups and see how they would have turned out. This did look really good yesterday. This is Bob. We just went over this. This is Workhouse. It did look really good. It was a fractal, but I guess the reason I'm showing you this, I want to show you how very often setups do not work out. I think if we look at them and then we don't look at them again in the future, we just assume everything went up. So I think doing this is a good example of just to show you how many trades, even with good setups, don't work out. GLD was on the scanner yesterday. I can't remember why, but there is nothing going on with GLD. I would look for a 520 crossover. SINA, reason I was not interested in it, it was just too high, right up here near the third ATR channel, a little bit further. It was up earlier. It's up a penny, but you can see that we didn't miss out on anything there. Run. I think this triggered earlier in the day when it had a V1 and then it untriggered. So this is up nicely, but there was really no reason to take that trade. SSRM, Had a V2. I just felt like it was a little bit too chasey. There was no sideways motion, and you can see that is down 0.5% today. Nuva did have a higher low V1. I didn't like the day one bar was too big, but it is still up 1.35%. XLE, I can't remember why XLE even made the scanner yesterday because it closed below the previous day's low, but this is up nicely, but there was no reason to take that. Billy yesterday, this one did do well. Oh, there really was no signal though yesterday. There was no higher low V1 or V2 or anything like that. BIOMarin Pharmaceutical. This is up nicely, not a ton. Kamal and I looked at this one. I have this one on the scanner. WSO had the crossover yesterday. I don't like big down bars like this, and I especially don't like when we rally right back up into the halfway, and you can see it failed. So that was a good pass there. SWR, I just can't remember why this made the scanner because really there's nothing here, but it's up nicely today. NVAX, just felt like this was a little chasey, although that is up. But again, I'm not really sure why this made the scanner. I hope I have these correct. DOCU did close above the 100-day moving average, still had all those moving averages above it, still had the big down move prior to it, and it has failed pretty nicely today, if you want to say so. ZS was on the scanner. Again, you had a big down day. It fooled around with that halfway move, but not so good today. GRWG, ooh, it's nicely, I remember this one, just too high for me. It did have a false breakout to the upside and come back down, but just in general up here, but this one did nice for sure. Gilead, we'd already talked about that one. Now, I think these were a couple days ago. That's right. Yeah. So it had a V2, but it's exactly kind of what I thought. You know, you go down, you have a bounce, but it can't sustain. And then last one, HYLN, did have a V1. The risk to reward didn't seem very good, and that is down. So, you know, a mixed bag there. But like I said, the main reason, just to show you, I think it's really good to just see how often signals do not work out. Okay, so before we turn our attention to the results of the scanner, before I look for the the best end of day trade, keeping in mind 3 requirements, right? My 3 requirements: confluence, combination of indicators, good risk to reward ratio, and keeping in mind correlation, account heat, all that kind of stuff. I just want to talk a little bit about trader psychology. There's some really good Facebook and Twitter channels out there that do an excellent job of providing us great information, good trading words of wisdom, so to say. And my very favorite one is Steve Burns, who's right here right now in the chat with us. This is over on the New Traders, Rich Traders group over on Facebook. It's a great YouTube channel. Some really serious traders. You have to apply to it, but if they accept you, that would be great. So go over there and apply, see about getting in, because there's some great traders. There's Kamal's over there, Steve's over there, Tom Basso's over there. Just a lot of serious traders, and Steve was nice enough to post this for us. Let's take a look, see what Steve has to say here. And by the way, Steve is at S. Joseph Burns over on Twitter if you haven't subscribed to him. But if you've been in this chat for a long time and have not subscribed to him, that is a mistake. You should. Let's see what Steve has to say. What new traders think they need? And, you know, before I even read this, whenever I come across a new trader, they always have ideas about what they need. They really do. It has to be a fast connection. It has to be this, and have to have CNBC on in the background. I hear that a lot. But let's see what he says. New traders think you need a strong opinion. Well, I could tell you from experience, everybody, from the School of Hard Knocks, having a strong opinion is the worst thing I've ever had in trading. That's why I got into so much trouble when I was in my early 20s, because I had an opinion. The best thing you can possibly have is no opinion. That's the ideal state of mind to be in. I know it's hard to have, but it really is. Just concentrate on what the price action is telling you. Follow what the market decides is right. Don't have an opinion. And you can have an opinion, just don't express it in a trade, or don't let the opinion influence your trade. If you think the market's too high and it's going up and you start to short, what do you do? If it goes down, great. But if it keeps going up, what are you going to do, right? So you're probably just going to sit in it because you have an opinion. Just the best advice I can give anybody is do not have an opinion. Go with the flow. Go with what the market's telling you. A good prediction. Well, opinion and prediction kind of go the same, but don't try to predict stuff, right? Just go with the flow of the market. Use price action as your guide. Don't have opinions and predictions. A guru. Listen, the worst thing you can have is a guru, because with the guru, you just listen to what the guru is telling you and you don't think for yourself, right? I mean, the most ideal thing is for you to be able to pick all your own trades and not have to rely on anyone. And there's lots of ways to do that, but just remember, however you trade, just get out quickly if you're wrong. If you're right, have the courage to stay in, scale out, whatever. But yeah, people get hung up on gurus. Look, gurus are just people too, right? So work on yourself. Work on being able to do things yourself, not having to rely on a guru. Because do gurus know anything in the market? I don't, sometimes not, but learn to be self-sufficient. A stock pick. Well, I'm sure a lot of people subscribe to newsletters and things like that about a stock pick. But the problem is, if you get a stock pick and then you have an opinion about it and you predict that it's going to go up and you buy it and it doesn't, well, if you still have that prediction and that mindset that, well, it was a stock pick, it's going to hinder you from getting out quickly when you're wrong. I don't care how good a stock pick is. If it closes below the 200-day or closes below a level, I don't care how good of a company is, but I'm just going with the price action. Natural talent. I think there is some natural talent. I think there is some innate natural talent for trading that certain people are born with, just like certain people are born with the ability to sing very nicely and have a beautiful voice. And some people, a lot of people play golf, but they're not Tiger Woods. I think with any occupation, any skill, I think some people musically or in trading or whatever have some innate abilities. But listen, there are plenty of people out there that make money consistently that do not have, some God-given innate ability. If you have it, great. That's a bonus, but you do not need to have a natural ability. Remember the trading places based upon a true story? That was the bet between the two guys. You're either born with it or you're not. And the turtle trader showed that you do not have to be born with it. What they actually need, a positive expectancy model. What is that? That means you have an edge in your trading over time. You take a trade, doesn't mean it's going to win every time, but if you take that trade 100 times, it's going to win more often than it's going to lose, or the win to loss ratio is going to be greater. Just like in a casino, right? Craps, roulette, blackjack, whatever. It is a positive expectancy model for those casinos. They have built-in edges, and you're no different as a trader. That's why you need to find a system that has an edge, right? Like the overnight SPY trade, it has an edge. It's clear, right? Doesn't mean it's going to work forever. I don't know, but it has pretty good edge, enough for me to take it every day. So thank you, Steve Burns. I think that's a really good post. Appreciate that. That helps me, and I hope it helps everyone else. Frank says, the only signals I rely on are the ones on train track crossings. That's probably pretty good policy. I would say that would be a smart thing to do. Gary says, I came across this today at Option Alpha 1 trade, small position with a high probability of success in a liquid stocks and options, using the right strategy as many times as you can. Oh, that makes sense. And I think it also makes sense. I mean, I always talk about trading size and your position size. You can have the best trade set up, but if you have too large of a trade set up, it's going to scare you out. You won't be able to handle the emotions of a big position. So I think that's why what Gary's saying here is trade small positions so for that very reason, so you don't get trade out. Trade small positions, high probability of success in liquid stocks. Use the right strategy as many times as you can. Just like Las Vegas, they have position size limits, and they try to deal as many hands, throw as many dice, spin the ball on the roulette wheel as many times as possible. Because if you have an edge, the more times you do it in the long run, the more money you make. Brian says, how much do you weigh news and trends such as shutdown, stay-at-home orders, huge layoffs, and organization, election, etc., your overall strategy? Well, in an ideal world, Brian, I would not let it affect me at all. But I just proved last week, right? I didn't take the overnight SPY trade on the election, so it did weigh on me a little bit. But then again, I'm not going to hold through earnings also, which is valid because it's just kind of a surprise. And I just felt like the election was going to be a surprise. But in my normal trade, I really try hard, Brian. I do read all that stuff. I stay up to date on all those things. But again, I just like to follow what the price action is telling me. And because if you're looking at news, then by default, you're making a prediction and having an opinion on something. So in an ideal world, I should say, I try very hard not to let any of that affect me and just go from the price action. Okay. How are things? Hey, Apple went positive. Fantastic. No profit targets yet, but green on the day. So I am definitely happy about that. Let me take a look over here at Beyond Meat. Is there a possibility? Is there a possibility to pull this out with the close above the 200? There is. There is a possibility. So we'll see what happens. All right. Let me get my little notepad over here with my position size. Come on, I actually went through these earlier in the day together on Skype, which was kind of fun. All right, here is QLYS. We closed below the -1 ATR channel. We came into the value zone. We have a pretty nice V2 here. Here's day 1, 2, 3. Day 2 washes out day 1. Day 3, it looks like it's closing above day 1's close. In addition to that, we have this big bar up. The washout bar came back down, tested the halfway point, and bounced. So I do kind of like this. It does offer a good risk to reward ratio. It hasn't rejected the 50 RSI. It did reject the -1 ATR channel. MACD is positive, turned positive, which is a nice confirming indicator. We have not rejected the 50 RSI yet. So I do kind of like QLYS. I don't like that we rejected halfway of this bar, but it wasn't a down bar. See, it was an up bar. This is a down bar that could get rejected 50%. So I am kind of partial to this, and we do have a red-green bar also, which is positive. You know, I'm sure it's going to run into some resistance here, possibly. But, you know, my risk would be from here to here. I do kind of like this, so I'm going to watch this at the end of the day. BMRN does have a 520 crossover. Kamal and I discussed this. He looked at the back test. It does back test pretty well. It's under 50, over 50, and has the 520 crossover. Let's look at the weekly. The weekly has had this long consolidation, and you know what I say about consolidations, right? Sideways movements tend to lead to big movements either one way or the other. We just don't know. So this is a possibility as well. Silver does have a 520 crossover, although AGQ does not have a crossover. So I think I'm just going to wait for the AGQ crossover, not the silver crossover, because it backtests better. ALNY has a nice close back above the 200-day moving average, also above the 50 RSI and the 50-day moving average. I don't quite like this one as much because we started so low before we made our move up above the 200-day moving average. I think I'm going to pass on this one. I'm going to see whether or not we can come back below the 200 and then go back up with a closer, higher low V1 back above the 200. You know, people that were lucky enough to buy here, they are very likely going to be looking to sell at any weakness, which would drive it back down. So I'm going to just wait on ALNY. VMW this one's not bad. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put this one over here. It does have a higher low V2. It is above the 50 RSI. We have not rejected the 50-day moving average. Had we rejected the 50-day moving average, I would not take this, but it has not proven that it doesn't like the 50 yet. If we go over to the weekly, we had the big down bar. We are higher than 50% of that, so that is good. So I do kind of like VWM as well. Edit is a higher low V2 with the rejection of the 200-day. MACD is not positive. I still think I like QLYS and BMW better. Billy, we've seen this one a while. This one's really nice big up move today, but it's too chasey for me. The risk to reward doesn't make sense. SOHU is fairly decent. Nice false breakout to the downside, and a V2, excuse me, but we do have earnings. CRI, close above the 200-day moving average, which is good. It was a higher low, close back above the moving average. Has rejected the 50-day moving average, and there's a lot of overhead resistance here. Just the fact that it rejected that 200 I don't like very much. GoDaddy's not bad. This is a higher low V1. And it tested the 200-day moving average. This isn't too bad, so we'll throw this over here. SWIR. That's a bit kind of choppy, sloppy mess here, so nothing there. HAS, nice V2, just too chasey for me up here, rejected the 1 ATR channel. BWA has not triggered a V2, but even if it had, it's chasey. ITB, higher low V2, but still stuck inside this big down bar. Did reject the 50 already. TSN, very, very strong. Gapped up, consolidated, is broken out over the 200, which is good, but it's at a 65 RSI, which is too high for me, and earnings are coming on Monday. Run, it's technically a V2, but this just does not speak to me whatsoever. XLE has a V2, but it's above the third ATR channel at a 63 RSI, so too high. And NAAB has been moving sideways quite a bit here and is down today. So these are my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are my 6 favorites right here. QLYS, I do like the setup here. I like the MACD crossing over. This is probably my favorite so far. VWM is also good. Did that reject the 50? Not quite. Let's look over on the weekly. Rejected the 50, well, now it's back over the 50. That's a little concerning. I think I'm going to have to let this one go with this halfway of this big down bar having the confluence there with the 100 and the 50. So I'm going to let that one go. GoDaddy is okay. We've made a higher low, but we've also made a lower high, but it did wash out. I think I still like QLWS better. ALNY, just too far of a move to get back over the 200-day moving average. I like when this is a higher low, move back above the 200, but this distance is so far to get above the 200. BMRN, I'm going to pass. On EDIT on the weekly, we have rejected the 50-week moving average, which is positive from a weekly standpoint. We do have a higher low V2 close back in the value zone. That is pretty good too. My favorite here are QLYS with this higher low V2 in the value zone, MACD going positive. And I'm having to talk myself into edit a little bit, so I'm going to let that one go. So my choice for today is QLYS. Now, let's see what's happening. Oh, boo, Beyond Meat is losing a little bit here. So I definitely am going to have to get out of Beyond Meat here today and take that loss. VIX is holding the 30. I will keep it. Apple went positive, 20 cents, so that's good. No profit targets, but green is green. And then Disney was a day trade also, so I'll get rid of that one. And of course the SPY. So I'm going to be getting rid of Beyond Meat with the close under the 200. I'm going to be holding the VIX. I'm holding Apple on the crossover, and I'll be buying SPY. So buying SPY, getting out of Beyond Meat, holding VIX, holding Apple, and adding QLYS. So that's the plan. Oh, and Nike. Forgot about that Nike. Nike does look pretty good here, I have to say. The only thing technically, Kamal, is that we did not close over the 1 ATR channel for a return to value, but it is still a higher low V2. Yeah, Nike looks fairly good as well with this V2. So Nike does look pretty good. And it gives a good risk to reward ratio right back down to here if you're wrong. Yep. Jackson says, long Google at 178, 15 minutes to close. If close around that level, it will be the highest day closing. Okay, good. Remind me of that, Jatin, at the end there so I can make sure I get it up on the board. Johan says, Nike caught my eye as well. Kamal, yep. I have it here actually on my page. I just forgot to put it on the board. Let's look at the weekly. It's a bearish weekly bar though. It's a false breakout from the upside, a V1 to the downside, and the bar is closing lower than the open. And did we reject the 70? Hey, yesterday I told you about looking at some weekly bar setups. I went through this morning and I could not find one single weekly bar setup that I liked. Although when I look at Nike here, if I were to, it's probably the best one, but it would be short because of that false breakout to the upside up here and the V1 and the loss of the third ATR channel, and it got right to 70. I'm not going to short it, but I do want to concentrate on weekly bars in the future. Yeah, you're right. I did have it checked over here. Brian's long Nike. Okay. Sounds good. All right. I'm going to give it a couple minutes, and I am not going to miss the trade. Yesterday, I'm so glad I went in and bought Beyond Meat after the close. I dodged a bullet by missing the trade, and as it turns out, I wish I would not have bought it, but that's how it goes, right? It was a valid signal. I like the under 30, over 30, the hold above the 200, and the pretty decent risk to reward. QLYS. Ooh, there's an 11-cent bid right there, or there's an 11-cent spread. So I'm going to, at the moment, I'm going to try to middle that while I still have some time. Oh, I got it. Good thing I didn't buy at the offer. Okay. So I did buy QLYS. Oh, and Beyond Meat, before I forget. Okay, got about 2 minutes. Come on, Beyond Meat, get on up there. Good, good, good. Keep going. Keep it going. Ah. All right. I'm pulling the plug on Beyond Meat right here for a loss. Okay. And then I'll be buying the SPY trade also. Johnson says AT&T is coming off the 52-week low and positive MACD, but it is one ATR above the value zone. Closing in 1 minute. Yeah, these last couple days have been pretty tough on the swing trades. Getting up there near the third ATR channel. Boy, AT&T's had quite a run here, hasn't it? Nice little double bottom bullish divergence here too. 30 seconds until the weekend. Apple's gone positive. Good, good, good. All right, that is it. That is it. So let me see where I got filled here on all this good stuff. QLYS at 29 or 29. 92.80. And where's my SPY trade? There it is. 358.10. All right, so it was a good week all in all. It was not as good as last week, but all in all, it was fairly decent. It was kind of a choppy, volatile mess with big ups and downs, but nonetheless, happy with it. 358.10 is where I bought that. The real question is whether Frank bought it. And then QLYS I bought at 92.80. And again, my stop on this trade will be if we close below halfway of yesterday's washout bar, right about there. So who knows what's going to happen. I like this setup. It offers a good risk to reward. The risk is to here. The reward somewhere up into this range. Makes sense. I like that MACD was positive, but all you can do is identify the trade, have an educated guess, analyze the risk to reward, position size correctly, pull the handle on the slot machine of the trade and see what happens. And if you're wrong, get out quickly. If you're right, stick with it. That's the key, you know. And that is from Mark Douglas in Trading in the Zone, which is a great book, everybody. If you haven't listened to that book, it's free on YouTube, and doesn't talk so much about actual trading methodologies as it just does the psychology of trading. So that's it. So I am out of Beyond Meat. All right. So listen, if you have some updates for me for your trades, go ahead, put them in the chat. Just real quick, just to remind everybody, I do teach private one-on-one lessons in the evening time via Skype. I love to teach. I've been doing it for quite a long time now. I've had some really good success with my clients. I have studied one-on-one with Steve Burns, Dr. Alexander Elder, Kerry Lavorne, Larry Williams, and the course I teach, I incorporate everything I've learned from these great traders and authors into my course. My course is 15 hours, 5 sessions, 3 hours each session for a total of 15 hours. It's $1,000, but I think it's worth every single penny. I think it's worth a lot more than that. And I just teach you very slowly, very methodically, exactly what I've learned from my mentors and teachers. And in addition to the teaching, you know, I turn the tables and I ask you, you know, you basically have to teach it back to me. And then we just do lots and lots of trading, simulation trading, but so that I can get it, so that I can see that you understand how to do the trades, how to enter, how to position size, emergency stop, end of day stop, profit targets, right? All that kind of stuff. And on all the different types of approaches that I use, like deep dip buys, crossovers, higher low V1s, V2s, return to value V1s, V2s, double bottom, bullish divergences. And so I teach each lesson a subject, then we go through and we do chart study and we trade that setup. And when you're done, you really should know what you're doing. So if you're interested, reach out to me. Just send me an email. Let me know you're interested in possibly taking the course. I'll reply and say, hey, great. Sounds wonderful. Let's do a Skype call. Skype call's free. It's not a sales call. I'll never ask you if you want to take the lesson. I just want to get to know you a little bit better, understand what your goals are, your challenges with trading, and what you'd like to achieve. And then it's a good time for you to ask me about any questions you have about the course. All right. And then also, if you like today's podcast, I would appreciate it if you could hit the thumbs up button. It helps to keep the channel around, helps build the channel, helps YouTube, lets YouTube know that there's some content here that could be valuable for listeners. And so if you found anything valuable today or liked it, I would appreciate it if you could hit the thumbs up button. So, okay, all of that taken care of. Let's see what we have here. Johnson is out of Beyond Meat. Yeah, man, that Beyond Meat trade just did not go well today. Okay, so I've got Nike over here for Brian. Yeah, good. I like it. False breakout to the downside, V2, up above the 50, up above all the moving averages. Makes sense. All right, best of luck to you on that one. Brian, hope that one keeps moving on up. And it's good to see you back too. Okay, Johnson's and AT&T. Gary's out of Beyond Meat. Well, at least it came off of its lows. That's all I can say. And QLYS. Okay, there's Gary, Johan, and Johan's also in GoDaddy. Okay. Jackson says Dow Jones highest weekly closing. Let's see if sustained next week. Well, let's hope so, huh? Jackson is in Goog. At 1748. Nice, going. Already in the money. Perfect. 1748. Okay. Bob is out of Beyond Meat. Yeah, that was a stinker today, wasn't it? Quad says no position change for me, just hanging on. Good. Hanging on to your GILD. Where did GILD go? Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay. Frank is in the S&P. Stopped out of Beyond Meat. Yeah, you know, I wish every single trade would work, but of course they don't, right? Of course they don't. And you go through streaks. You know, the week of the election, man, was that a great week for me, at least. You know, and then this week has been kind of uppy, downy, up overall, which I'm grateful for, but it'd be nice if everything just worked perfectly all the time, but of course it doesn't, and it doesn't for anyone. You just, you know, how you behave yourself and how you react when you're going through a drawdown, that is the number one indicator in my opinion on how you're going to do long term as a trader. Because if you get frustrated when things are not going well, and they won't go well in trading, I promise you, there are certain times everybody goes through drawdowns, but you know, if you can keep calm, do what you're supposed to do, not get crazy and double up and triple up and get frustrated. I talked a little bit about that yesterday. When you get that feeling, you know, I mean, they call it revenge trading. If you get that feeling, you need to get the hell away from your computer screen. Excuse me. Frank, okay, right back in with me. Ava says, out of TDOC for a small loss. That's good, Ava. Keep them small. Keep them small. That's the key. That is the key. And the ones that are going well, I know you still have. Another lesson for me to collect profits pre-market when 4 risks is given. Yeah, we always learn lessons, don't we? Or you should anyway. You paid for them, right? QLS have SMA above for some resistance. Yep, they do. They do. But I think very easily we could go up to this area. I'm not expecting it to go up here at all. I'm expecting to get into this area right here, which would be 2 to 1 my risk. But yeah, good analysis there, Jonathan. Okay, I think I got everyone so far. Brian took Nike. Quad. Oh, just underwater a little bit now on the trade. Okay. SPY's down 2 pennies. QLS is break even. Apple's down a penny, so not, oh, now up a penny. Okay. You know, I had a friend of mine call me last night, and he wanted to take a third of his total trading capital and buy VIX calls. I'm like, what makes you so certain that you're going to risk 30% of your entire capital on one VIX call trade? He's like, well, you know, I heard somebody say something, and it has to go up. It has to go up. And I was like, look, it doesn't have to do anything. You know what I mean? And he's a good trader. And I was surprised to hear that come out of his mouth, because, you know, he's been trading for quite a long time. And if I hear somebody say it has to do this, then I generally think, okay, they're probably new at trading. But it was surprising. But remember, nothing has to do anything. Things can go way higher than you've ever expected. Things can go way lower. So please remember that. And that goes back to what I was talking about, trader psychology. Don't have opinions and predictions. He has a prediction and an opinion. Kamal says, Nike, just do it. But the damn VIX calls. You know, well, VIX has been interesting. It's been interesting. Yesterday, I really thought I had a tiger by the tail with the VIX, but down. But, you know, if we remember, I bought calls down here and sold into this big move up. So, you know, and those calls almost doubled. So that was good. But taking my lumps a little bit here. But again, just another point, you know, that's why when I have big moves up, I get out of something just in case this happens. It helps mitigate the loss. Oh, Kamal says, Nike, just do it. Buy the damn VIX calls. Oh, so you're saying my friend should buy the VIX calls? If I tell him Kamal said so, he will do it. Gary says, thanks, Greg and group. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Gary. Appreciate that. Man, it's cold outside. It's under 30. Holy Hannah. Well, I guess I'm going to have to put on all my gear and go trompsing around. I just ordered some crampons. The other day I was up hiking, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not used to ice and snow. Boy, it was a little dangerous. So I got some crampons on the way. Looking forward to the weekend. Boy, this was a kind of a long week, kind of a crazy week. Going over to a friend's house tonight, have dinner. That will be nice. She's a great cook, man. Holy man. Whew. I'll go 400 pounds if I go over there too often. Jadden says, the best part about price is it literally gives us the indication if we practice chart reading like meditation. Yeah, I 100% agree. Price is the truth. That's the truth of the market. The price is the truth. Everybody can have opinions and they can spin things and all this kind of stuff about what it's going to do, where it's going to go. But where it's at right at this moment, that's the truth. And I think you're better to follow the truth in trading than, you know, just following some pipe dream of this and that. Kamal says, FOMO YOLO. Fear of missing out and you only live once. Okay, I'm still not getting a direct answer, Kamal. You're around the periphery on what I'm going to have to tell my friend. I'm going to say, look, man, until I get a straight answer out of Kamal, I can't tell you what to do. I hope he doesn't do it. I actually told him, I said, look, if you really believe that, if you just really want to do it, just take a small position size. Don't take 33% of your account. Take a small size and just, if it does go up, then you'll be happy anyway. Johan says, have a great weekend. Have a great hike, Greg. Have a good weekend, everyone, and see y'all next week. Thank you, Johan. Hope you have a nice weekend. Have a good evening. If you're up flying around in your 777, be careful. And wave down hello to us, would you? Okay. I don't know if Frank's still there, but Frank, is this overnight SPY trade going to become a regular thing with you, or is this just going to be, do you have some filters on using the SPY trade? I had somebody, when I did the overnight SPY trade video, somebody asked me a question about, well, can you improve it by adding filters, like not buying if it's under the 200-day moving average? And I told them, I'm like, I know a lot of people have tried. I've never really seen anything, but I'm just wondering, Frank, if this is going to be a regular thing for you, or if you just have some filter in place and why you're doing it currently. Chad says, have a great weekend, sir. Enjoy your dinner and happy weekend, everyone. Learning many things here. Oh, I'm glad to hear that, Jackson. Thank you. Hope you have a nice weekend too as well. Johnson says, good weekend all. You too, Johnson. Thank you. Kamal says position size 1% loss on signal. I agree. DSD, SDSD. Message retracted. Danny Messi, can you look at BKNG for shorting? Sure. Well, nothing really jumps out at me, Danny, at the moment as far as shorting. Currently we're at a 65.45 RSI. If you just really wanted to short this, if it moved up and went above the 70 and closed back below, that would give you a good level, and then you could stay short as long as the 70 RSI reading stayed below, and if it closed above, then that could be your signal to get out. So it would give you a pretty good risk to reward. If I short tops, what I'm really looking for are double tops with bearish divergences, meaning you have a high and then you have a higher high, but the distance of the green here, if it's higher and it's lower, then yes, that's what Dr. Alexander Elder calls a double top with the bearish divergence. But in this case, we have a high and we have a higher high, but you see how much higher the bars are over here than here? This shows a lot of strength. This is not a divergence. This is called a convergence. So I don't see any double tops with bearish divergences right here. So it's above the third ATR channel, which means it's very, very strong. The only way I would consider shorting this, and I honestly wouldn't do it. Now, if we went above this high, so like Monday we went above it and then closed below it, and we also went above the 70 and closed below the 70, then I would have two signals, not just one. And like I say at the beginning of every show, it's best when you have a combination or multiple signals. But this is very strong here. This MACD is so super strong. I don't think I would get involved in trying to short this here. But if you did a rejection of the 70 RSI and a close below, at least that would give you a good risk to reward ratio. Hope that helped, Danny. Frank says, I will stay with it as long as I'm playing with the house money. Okay, that sounds good. Lova says, thank you for what you do. Thank you, Lova74. ALR, thanks. All right, thanks. I think that's what that means. But yeah, nothing just jumps out on me on BKNG. I mean, people want it. Now, here, with a close below the previous day's low, after this gap up, that would kind of make sense, and it did go down, but it bounced right at that third ATR channel is support below us now. So I would have to have it. Okay, so if I really wanted to short this, I would want to see the price do this if it were today. It would go up above the previous high, up above 70, and then close back below it, because that would show me that there were no more buyers over this, and there were no more buyers over the 70 RSI, and then it would give me a good risk to reward. And then if, looking to the downside, I would be covering on the way down. Very likely, if it does go down, this is about where it will find support. Oh, Frank says my SPY strategy is coded in the poem. Okay, now you see it, now you don't. The overnight SPY trade. You reap while you sleep or wake and weep. Just trade light, not too steep. Who knows? The money you make, you might just get to keep. All right, that makes sense. I like it. Jason says, shorting tops in an uptrend, it literally kills you. Yeah, I agree with Jatin. There's no real signals there at the moment. A rejection of the 70 RSI and a false breakout to the upside, that's valid. It's valid. It's probably not highly likely, but it's valid. It's valid in the fact that it gives you a construct of the trade. It tells you exactly where to get out. If I short at 69.99 and it closes at 70.01, then that tells me I'm wrong, and hopefully wrong small. But it's all about risk to reward and having a line in the sand or a level that you're in under and you're out above. Well, I'm thrilled Apple went positive. I mean, not a big deal, but I'm glad it went positive after all this. Glad I got a little piece of it in the day trade. That Disney trade was nice, though. I'll tell you what. That Disney trade was good. Okay. I've delayed long enough having to put on all my cold weather clothes and go out into the wilderness, but I guess I will do it. So just as with every day, please try to go out and do something nice for somebody today. Just a smile, a wave, hello. Just be pleasant. Tell somebody how much they mean to you. It will make them feel good. It will make you feel good. And then also, if you could please go out and do the same thing for an animal, whether it's a stray animal or whether it's your pet or your friend's pet or any animal you come across. Just do a little nice thing for them. Just say hello to them in a nice voice. Give them a little treat. Give them a little scratchy. Give them a little love. Take them on a walk. Just something like that. I think one nice thing for a human, one nice thing for an animal every day. I think that's a good policy. Kamal says, happy hiking, Greg. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. And thank you all for coming. And like I said, if you did enjoy today, I really would appreciate if you could hit the thumbs up button on your way out of here. And have a safe Friday the 13th. Have a nice weekend. Be good. Be safe. And we shall see what Monday brings. Right? So thanks a lot, everybody. Good seeing y'all. And enjoy your weekend. Talk to you soon. Oh, Danny says, have a good weekend. Thank you. You're welcome, Danny. Talk to y'all later. Bye now. U.S. government required disclaimer. Stock, options, futures, and Forex trading is not appropriate for everyone. While there is a potential for large rewards, there is also a substantial risk of loss associated with trading. The material in this video or live broadcast is not geared towards any particular individual or to any particular financial situation and is not intended to meet the particular investment objectives of any viewer. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Any and all information contained in, implied, or referenced by this video or live broadcast is not to be construed as investment advice, and no representation is made that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast is an investment or financial advisor or is registered or authorized to give any financial advice. We are publishers and educators only. Therefore, the various producers of this video or live broadcast will not accept liability for any loss or damage of any kind which may arise either directly or indirectly out of the use of any of this material, including any loss of profit. No representation is made that any account or investment will or is likely to achieve the profit or losses demonstrated. We recommend consultation with a licensed and qualified professional before making any investment decision. This video or live broadcast is not to be construed as an offer to buy or sell any security, financial instrument, or financial product of any kind. Notice is hereby given that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast or their clients may have an interest in any security, financial instrument, or financial product mentioned or referenced. Any simulated or hypothetical performance result depicted does not represent actual trading and therefore may under or overcompensate for the impact of various market factors such as lack of liquidity. Thank you.